Good evening and welcome to Wednesday Wellness. We are so grateful that you guys were able to join us tonight. Tonight we have a great topic. It is sugar. What is the truth about sugar? Dr. Brimhall will be hosting tonight. Dr. Brimhall has been a practicing chiropractor in Arizona for the last 20 plus years. He has grown up in the supplement industry. He has grown up being the healthiest version of himself and helping others along the way. And so we do these meetings every single Wednesday. We welcome everybody to invite their friends. It's at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays Mountain Standard Time. All of us have come here through a company called LifeVantage. They are products that are nutrigenomic and activating products. So if you have any questions about any of the products that we talk about during these meetings, please contact the person who invited you to the meeting and get your questions answered. If any of you have any questions that you want answered by Dr. Brimhall or others after the recording, we do a question and answer period. And so that's one of the values of being able to jump on the call, is that you're able to get those questions answered. So thank you so much for being here tonight. And Dr. Brimhall, take it away.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for hopping on. I apologize for my tardiness. It's kind of been a little bit of a nutty time today, but I'm actually at a youth group later here, and I'm actually sitting in an event place with the music going. So, but I got pretty fired up this weekend. I was at a training in Florida with the company, but on the way back, I go to the airport. And the only time I ever look at a magazine rack when I'm coming through an airport, and look what I found. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Right? So it's a whole time magazine dedicated to the science of sugar and how it works and how we use it. Like, I have to admit, I felt a little validated. Okay, I truly did. Right? Because these are conversations that I've been having for years. And this sums it up like this. I remember probably 10 years ago, I had a young man that was in one of my scout classes. He was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And I remember, having his mom, I said, look, you need to bring him in, let me talk to him. And I remember having this conversation with this family and telling this mom that he needs to do certain things to avoid sugar and to control all these things, because it's going to determine not only how he functions today and feels today, but how it's going to turn out in years to come. And I remember her being upset at me to the point where she never came back, because the doctor had told him, the kid, that you can eat whatever you want, just take enough insulin. And I truly believe that set him up for failure. All right. So the things that I'm going to share with you tonight are not what you want to hear. It's what we all need to hear. All right. And to realize that what you've been taught is not true. All right. And I'm going to go through a couple of things from this, and I'm going to summarize and give you just some things of really at the bottom line of what you can do with it. All right. But here's the nuts and bolts. Okay. When you go through this, I'm going to summarize some of the things I read. Number one, 72% of Americans are overweight. 72%. 88 million don't even know they're pre-diabetic. This is just in the United States. So times that by 10 or whatever in other countries, right? Add all the world up. Okay. Huge numbers. And guess what? It's not your fault. You have been lied to. Okay. And they're a part of this article, which I think was so fun. I mean, I don't know why I've got problems. Okay. Let's just be thankful. Okay. So in this thing, like, they talked about, which I thought was so fascinating. And by the way, look at this. The average kid, 4 to 8, eats 50 pounds of sugar a year. 50 pounds. That's a bunch. Okay, 50 pounds of sugar a year. All right, but what I want to read to you is this. Okay, so part of the article they give, it says it's called The Deadly Game. The sugar industry knows what it's selling and hasn't always played straight with the people who are buying it. How's that for some fun? All right, so here's I'm just going to read this to you because I thought it was kind of interesting. So this lady was literally she kind of uncovered all this stuff. So I want you guys to raise your hand if you think that smoking is good for you. All right. So nobody raised their hand? Odd. Okay. All right. Did you know that it used to be advertised that smoking was good for you? Right? Nuts. So in here, which I think is fun, I'll post some of these later. It actually shows some old advertisements, right, of how it's literally like smoky, like sugar is good for you. Like it's crazy. Like these old ones, like old like art advertisers like back in the 60s, 70s and stuff like that about sugar makes you grow strong and big, right? So, but let me read this too because I thought it was interesting because this is why we are. It says she found, in short, she unearthed more than 1,500 pages of historical documents that illustrated in meticulous detail how the sugar industry, particularly sugar-sweetened beverage companies, had worked to promote, suppress, and influence research in order to shape the narrative around sugar and health. Many of the techniques she uncovered were straight from the tobacco industry. Okay, so beside that, so what you're being taught is not true, but understand that you've got to learn to trust your body. All right, your brain was programmed to survive, right? Which means be back in the day when we were looking for food, if it tasted sweet or as high fat, you ate it. It tasted because you needed to survive. It wasn't readily available. The sugar industry understands that and plays to that. So if you look at the quantities of sugar being placed in our diets all the time, it literally is designed for you to crave it more. It's literally a signal to your brain that you need to have lots of this because it's how you survive. It triggers the parts of your brain that activates dopamine, which is what opioids activate. It's your pleasure chemical. So when you eat it, it's pleasurable. And when you get it, you want more of it. And when you combine that with fats, it's even that much more. So think about it, pizza, right? Okay, guys, a half a cup of tomato sauce has more sugar than 2 Oreos. Truthfully, I'd rather eat Oreo. That just sounds better, right? But think how much tomato sauce is used in the United States. So bottom line, this is what we're up against. Okay, understand that it's not in your best interest to eat sugar, but it's in the food industry best interest and the pharmaceutical industry's best interest for you to eat sugar. Now, this is about heart disease because basically when you combine sugar, all right, it causes your body to make insulin, which causes your body to store fat, which means leads directly to heart disease. All right, absolutely. So it's not about how much cholesterol you eat, it's more how much sugar you eat. And check this out. And all the stuff I'm telling you is right out of here. Well, what about these like, these like, zero sugar beverages, right? What about these artificial sweeteners? Oh, I actually, sorry, you got me fired up. Okay, I read this, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I'm gonna read 2 things to you. I don't want to read a bunch, but I thought this is interesting. Right. So anybody heard of high fructose corn syrup? High fructose corn syrup? All right, okay. Check this out. This researcher says fructose appeared to interfere with healthy and efficiently functioning mitochondria in the liver cells. And this is a mouse study, which is a mammal, which is what you are, led directly to fatty liver. I don't know about you, but that means your mitochondria might be having issues. Okay, all right. The other thing that it talked about is how this process of eating sugar literally is like taking a piece of fruit and leaving it on the counter for a long period of time. And what happens to that fruit when it sits on the counter for a long period of time? It oxidizes. So sugar oxidizes cells. So in diabetics, we measure a marker called hemoglobin A1C. That's what's called oxidized hemoglobin. So that's oxidized red blood cells. We measure that. The worse that becomes, the more diabetic you come. The more out of control you get, the more of every disease you develop. All right, so 2 key points there. That means oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction is directly tied to this, the result of eating too much sugar. All right. So I told you I'm going to leave you with good news. This is almost, you were taught wrong, and it really because they were trying to sell products. If you look at what's being put into our products, it's get us to crave them. And my wife has said this for years. She said, it's just better if I don't eat sugar at all, like zero, right? I just don't eat it because when I eat it, like I want more of it. But if I don't eat it, I'm fine. All right. That's because when you eat it, it literally triggers in your brain to want more of it. All right. And for those of you that say, well, I drink Diet Coke and I drink Diet this and Diet that. it's rich, right? It's such BS. And I've known this for years because you watch it. You watch people that drink diet, they become more diabetic, right? Guess what? Whether it's an artificial sweetener, a real sugar, it triggers your body to release insulin. End result, you store fat. End result, you store fat. End result, you create and you speed up disease. All right. So the next time somebody tells me or asks me, hey, by the way, is that supplement or that Axial drink thing you're using, is it FDA approved? I want you to ask them, do you think it's FDA approved that you can have sugar in your freaking soft drinks, in your foods, in your tomato sauce? Well, guess what? It is. So I'm not sure I want to trust that. Right. All I'm saying is we need to look back to what we're doing and understand this process. So here's what we do for this. Like, this isn't designed to harp on anybody. It's just understand, like, okay, we've been taught wrong. So it's not your fault where you are, but it is your responsibility to become what you want. All right. So it may not be your fault where you ended up where you are right now, and that's all of it, but it is your responsibility to end up where you want to be. All right. And I don't know about you, but if you're having a doctor tell you what you want to hear and you're not getting results, you probably need to find a new doctor. All right. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. What I'm just saying is I'm going to tell you the truth when it comes to that. So here's what you can do. Okay. Here's simple rules. If it's in a box, a bag, or a can, it's got preservatives in it. If it's in a box, in a bag, or a can, it's got preservatives in it. All right. So if you want to embalm yourself early, you eat that. All right. Number 2, understand this is the game. And if you want to play the game to win, you got to understand the rules, and you got to understand who you're playing against. So remember, you are a dollar sign to the food industry. You are a dollar sign to the food industry. And unfortunately, and I apologize to the pharmaceutical industry and really any industry. Okay. And what do they want? If somebody can get you to have a disease, guess what? You're worth a lot of money long-term. So I tell patients all the time, and I say this flat out, especially the guys, I hope you don't change your diet. I really don't, because I was thinking about getting a new boat. And I will make a lot more money on you if you don't change your diet. Funny how that works. All right. But I want to wake them up to that concept. So it's actually better if none of you listen to me tonight when it comes to changing your diet. It's better for me as a physician. All right. So you're going to spend some money either on keeping or getting your health or trying to re-get it. Right? They say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Absolutely, 100% of the time. You can either spend your health making your wealth, and then spend your wealth trying to regain your wealth, or you can put time in all the time. All right. So what we're about here with Life Advantages Wednesday Wellness Group is literally to truly say, look, let's just figure it out, the game, understand the game we're playing, and guess what? We're gonna win. All right. So number 1, understand the game, play to win. All right. Don't reward yourself with food. Reward yourself with something else. I actually grew up in the area where when I did a good job, I got a gold star. I really still like gold stars, right? So there's other ways to reward yourself. We call it self-care. That's kind of the word you hear. It's self-care, right? It's self-care. So reward yourself with things other than food. Okay, sometimes it's a pat on the back. All right. And check this out. I already told you, but protect your mitochondria. Right? Right? Protect your mitochondria, because if you don't, and you're eating high fructose corn syrup, which a lot of us are, it's literally damaging the liver cells. All right? Reduce oxidative stress. So you want to do this you can to protect yourself while you reduce the stress. Right? And if you do that, you're going to start winning the game. But remember, if you're already diabetic, okay, or you're on your way towards there, you didn't get there overnight. And here's the scary thing. If 73% of Americans are overweight, the fastest growing population of developing these overweightness, if that's a word, is actually adolescents. All right. So it's our role and our responsibility to do our best to turn that cycle around. Okay. So for me and my family, all right, it's educating them, right? And guess what? My family doesn't listen to me. So guess what? This is kind of floating around in my house right now. right? And my one son, he likes to buy a Diet Coke. I don't understand, right? He's 18, he's got a job, he makes okay money. You know what? He's taller than I am. I can flip out, blow a gasket, or I can say, hey, buddy, look, you might want to read this. Okay, totally up to you when you're ready. But like, I'm concerned because that stuff's gonna make it, it's gonna damage your liver. Right? Time Magazine says so, right? So use the third-party validation thing like to help educate yourself and others. Read this just for your own knowledge, not to scare, just be aware. Okay, actually, I like that. Not to scare, but be aware. How about that? All right. So, and then good, better, best, right? Go with good, better, best. You're going to move your diet and your eating towards good, better, best. Can you guys hear the music? I'm sorry. I apologize. But hey, oh, well, some of you guys can dance there. But move your diet to good, better, best. Maybe we'll have Dr. Hatch dance. Eat better than I am. But good, better, best. And please, 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 please find products. If you're spending money somewhere, when it comes to products, find products. Like I know what I use with LifeVantage. I use a lot of them. Like I use Nerf 1, Nerf 2, Axial, right? Because I found it's always easier to replace than to remove. Right. So if you have somebody using diet drinks or things of that way, sugar drinks or things of that thing, move them from something that's unhealthy to something that actually could be healthy. Right. I have somebody earlier I talked to that a month or so ago. He's type 1 diabetic. He monitors numbers. He's like, that's really weird. My numbers are getting better. Because he's no longer drinking soda, he's using Axial. Because we're replacing it. It's much easier to just replace it than to remove it. Right now, we'll start doing the other dietary changes and stuff with him, but that's the reality. So replace it, and then give yourself the right type of products. I'll post an article later, and probably in the group about fatty acids, and specifically how it ties into this too. I just got an article about heart disease and fatty acids that came across my desk today. I think you guys will find that super interesting. Reduce oxidative stress, support your mitochondria, and especially like when it comes to if you're drinking anything that's sweet, convert it to something else. If you'll do that, you're going to win that game. And you don't want to, this is for kids too. Like I said, the fastest group is kids, right? So it's time. It's time for us to start understanding the game. I'm not one that promotes like buying a magazine, but buy that one. Like it's short. It's like it's short, but it's powerful. And I don't agree with 100% of what this says. That's okay. But it's if this is being published, guys, if this is being published, the world is turning. All right. For the first time ever, people are more about their wellness than they are about how they look. The first time ever. All right. And they also don't trust. So it's time. Like we want, and thank you for being on here. Like, thank you, every single one of you. And please share this information with somebody that you think it might benefit. All right, because there's a lot of other people that need to be able to hear this information so they understand that it's maybe not be their fault, but it is their responsibility. And we want to work together to help them get what they want.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brimhall. That was amazing on the sugar and what we need to do to be better. I loved your statement of it's not what happened to us, but we're responsible for what we do going forward. So we are empowered with information to take action. So thank you so much, Dr. Brimhall, for that. So please join us every Wednesday as we do other health topics. If you have ideas for health topics, please submit them. Again, please invite your friends and family to this. The question and answers that we do afterwards that are off camera, they're just valuable of what we can have. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Wednesday Wellness. Be well, get well, and stay well. Thanks for watching. And remember, one change can have an enormous effect. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell and the like, and we'll see you next time on Love to Live.